let me first introduce our moderator of today, Dr. Jeffery Chiu, CEO of Ansforce Incorporate. He's also a creator of a popular YouTube series, Technology Introduction and also Industry Application. Now, please welcome Dr. Jeffery. Perfect. Now, our first panelist is Mr. Frankwell, the chairman of RISC-V Taiwan Alliance. He is also the chairman of CEO of Endes Technology, where as a co-founder, he has led the company to become a global leader in embedded CPU IP. Welcome, Mr. Frankwell.
Thank you.
Now, next panelist, we will have Mr. Lu Dai, the board chair of RISC-V International. He is also the senior director of technical standards at Qualcomm, where he leads the company's semiconductor standard strategy and industry management. He has previously led Qualcomm SoC design and flagship products like Snapdragon 8 series. Welcome, Mr. Lu Dai. Now we also have another panelist, Dr. Charlie Su, the president and CTO of Endes Technology. He is the company's first employee, and Dr. Su has been instrumental in building Endes Professor IP businesses from the ground up. Welcome, Mr. Charlie Su. Next panelist, we have Dr. Luke Yan, the fellow of Tenstorrent, specializing in RISC-V CPU and machine learning architecture. At Tenstorrent, he leads the team focused on performing modeling, workload analysis, and also optimizing the high-performance RISC-V CPUs. Welcome, Dr. Luke. Now, last but not least, our next panelist is Mr. William Wei, CMO and also EVP of Skymizer. William has named us the top global 100 leaders in technology in 2021. He previously served as CTO of Foxconn Group, where he leads the technology strategy of EV, robotics, and digital health. Please welcome Mr. William, and now I will pass the stage to Dr. Jeffery. The floor is all yours.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to join today's discussion. So we all know that RISC-V is an open source instruction set for all the industry. So the first topic we would like to talk about would be the core advantages of RISC-V. Why RISC-V is better than other solutions. So Frankwell, probably you can go first. Give us some comment.
Thank you. I've been serving as a board director in RVI and also the chair of RISC-V Taiwan Alliance. So my observation will be different from this perspective. I would say RISC-V bring a new stream to the industry because the ISA standards, Intel x86 and ARM are getting old. They have a quite much back history and some overload on their shoulder. So RISC-V is kind of young, innovative, and strong, eager to create new things. And this is the momentum generator for all of us sitting here, not only those people creating IP or chip or boards. The OEM, ODM vendors sitting here might also require RISC-V because what is the difference if you apply ARM's product, okay? There's no differentiation. You need a differentiation to make your company having a new momentum to move on. So I would like to have the other academic or organizational statement of advantage to other panelists, but I would like to observe this from Taiwan's industry's point of view. From that, I would say anyone sitting here, if you are doing OEM, ODM, or a chip semiconductor, even further system board design or manufacturing, you should have this opportunity to observe what is RISC-V's advantage. Thank you.
So, both would you give me a comment from
Sure.
RISC-V International?
Yeah, so since I'm the board chair for RISC-V International, one of my key tasks is to make sure people call RISC-V ISA open standard, not open source standard.
Oh, okay.
So there's an important distinction. Open source, quite often people think that's the whole implementation, just like the software source code. It's open source. Open standard, it's just another way to describe a standard process, just like a Ethernet standard. But similar to Ethernet and other standard, it does not charge a royalty fee. Before RISC-V, I think all the ISA, they always have, been charging people fee, at least the mainstream ISAs, right? RISC-V is so unique in the sense that it doesn't charge a royalty free. It has a free access across the world that we don't have a way to describe it. And over the time, people just kind of associate that with open source. And, we just want to remind people when you buy the RISC-V IPs, the implementations, it's not free. You still have to pay for it. However, this technology, the baseline technology, ISA, is open and accessible. And that is one major uniqueness from our philosophy, that because it's open, everybody can look at it, and not only you can look at it, you have a voice. You have a voice on how to improve it. And when that voice is available around the world, that allows the innovations.
Okay, thank you. So, Dr. Charles?
The second important feature for RISC-V after open is extensibility. So because extensibility enables a lot of creativity, allow you to kind of differentiate your processor. And it's kind of pioneering this because we are, if it's just extensibility, everyone can go there to kind of edit if you know processor. But a lot of SoC companies like to, for example, enhance their AI algorithm with some computation. But they are not CPU expert. So they really need tool to help so that they can kind of focus on the functionality they want to add. But whatever related to processor, and you can give it a tool. So that's what Andy's automated custom extension do for this. And extensibility create another some controversial. People saw extensibility would create a fragmentation. But if you think about, for example, a smartphone, Android phone today, do you think the code running on MediaTek and Qualcomm, the binary are exactly the same? They are not. Because so even though in the code running on ARM processor probably mostly the similar, but when you go to need to touch, for example, your peripheral devices, your hardware accelerator, CPU need to execute different type of instructions. So how do you make Android able to run? Because you create an abstraction layer, right? So above that abstraction layer, everything is the same. Below the abstraction layer, you allow vendor to differentiate. So even though custom instruction can code processor, we can still use that way to still create, enable creativity, but not to create fragmentation. So I think extensibility is very important just after the open standard.
Yeah. How about Luke?
Sure. So I totally agree with all the points that everybody else before me made. One thing I would like to add is also another viewpoint, which is one of the ways that Tenstorrent thinks about the problem also is not just the open standard for RISC-V, but also how do other companies sort of integrate different IPs in a sort of a scalable way, right? So that everybody can work cooperatively and still build SoCs. So that's why we think that something like the open chiplet architecture is a very valuable thing that the community should benefit from, and we're helping to drive that discussion. And once that is sort of been adopted, then in theory, any company should be able to focus on their core technologies, whether it's CPU, GPU, AI, and then have the whole ecosystem be a heterogeneous system where we can build and mix and match IPs in different chiplets. So that's a very important aspect.
Thank you. And how about you, William?
Yeah, I'm coming from actually a very different different angle. I'm coming from the software industry, right? I used to work for Apple, and then we used to use 6 chip. not even RISC. So back to 30 years ago when I was in grad school and we were studying RISC architecture. What's the benefit of RISC architecture? Simpler, right? And the compiler more friendly and more efficient, more scalable. And then now we jump into, it's a long way to go. Now it's RISC-V, right? So this open standard that provided to the community, I think is the beneficiary for the technology for a long past evolution way. It is community-based instead of a dictatorship, right? to me, it's like, oh, okay, community-based. So the more community join, although with this freedom, but the technology will last longer instead of a dictatorship, right? So I'm hoping, I'm a user of RISC-V, we use ND's chipset for our whole system, right? So to me, I'm neutral from the technology point of view, but it just happened like, the flexibility and in the community, we use NDs. So I hope these kind of a strong character of a distributed community base instead of dictatorship will last longer. That's my take, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let me clarify a little bit. RISC-V is not an open source, which means actually it is an open standard, so everyone can use it. But you got to design the circuit by yourself, right? If you do not want to do that, you can purchase the IP from other companies. So that is not open source, okay? And we all know that AI is the future, very important topic in the future. So what is the advantage of customer if they use RISC-V for AI design? Could you share some code technology of your company for all of us? Yeah. So please, Frankwell.
This time we take turn from
William first.
Yeah, it's very interesting, like what's the relationship between AI and RISC-V? I don't find any relationship, right? But again, it's the community power to encourage to adopt this standard, and hopefully this adoption will be a long way to go when technology innovate. Right now, we're focused on agentic, right? So agentic, you can see this keyword agentic only get popular for last 6 months, I guess. But last year, I remember last year in COMPUTEX, we have a demo. We have demo in automotive, which is where I'm also coming from. Kind of I don't know if you heard of a program called 霹雳游侠 here in Chinese, right? Yeah. There's a kick. There's a supercar, right?
Supercar, yeah.
Michael's a supercar, right? It called it Buddy, right? So we have the demo for agentic AI. At that time, we call it Genie, right? So now it's agentic. So you can see that's autonomous driving, but you can see in automotive has agent everywhere, a swarm of agent, right? So when you're looking from the agent, AI agent, and what's the behind agent? It's LM, right? So what's behind LM is chip, silicon. So now you come to decide, what kind of silicon you want to be based on. So in RISC-V, there's although the tool set for RISC-V, I was just talking to Luke about RISC-V right now. He was commenting about, we better have a more standard and better profiler, for example, right? But the community moved really fast. We are hoping choosing this, we can have a last longer support of the technology path that we choose. So that's about it. Not the current, the best, but we looking for the long run. So from the top, from the AI to the why we choose the RISC, that's the reason behind it. Yeah.
So in terms of Tenstorrent's history with AI processors and RISC-V, when the company was founded, the founders were basically targeting CNNs. None of the LLMs existed, so they're using mostly RISC-V just for specialized control to basically control their custom AI accelerators. And then fast forward to today, the same, I guess, RISC-V controllers that they're using internally within the AI processors, that's still applicable. And then the only major things is obviously the precisions and the type of speeds and feeds that are necessary to actually do AI processing. So I would say RISC-V was a very good sort of a marriage between being able to control the AI processor as well as being able to scale to other different models as well relatively easily. Yeah.
How about Dr. Su?
I would say AI is now, right? So I think everyone in this room probably already using ChatGPT or DeepSeek or a Copilot, right? So it's already now. And it will be more tomorrow. So I think this is a good trend. So Andy is starting, field study in getting into AI, I think in 2019 when Meta kind of started to work with us for their first generation of MTIA. And since then, I think at that time, RISC-V vector processor just get started at not even finalized yet, so it's 0.7. But we continue to kind of developing the vector processor to support all the features there. And then once vector start kind of get mature, I think because AI continue to evolve, right? So a lot of the algorithm will continue to kind of come in. So and some of the operator really very important, but it's too heavy to make it become standard instruction. So extensibility here is very important. So our environment actually pre-invented before the vector processor. Actually, we can use it to enhance the instruction. So to support something like exponential, sigmoid, all kind of nonlinear function, which is too heavy to make it standard RISC-V instruction, but very important for AI operator. So we kind of have that environment to allow our AI customers to kind of use that to speed up their customer algorithm. So I think that's very important. And as we go, I think people see we kind of moving target from the cloud AI. Now a lot of customers want to do the edge AI. And they don't have all the expertise like the other company. So I think for things like metric multiplication or NPU type of thing, which are really helpful for them. So we kind of start to implement that. And fortunately, RISC-V also, in terms of standard instruction, we also kind of want to standardize metric multiplication. And for some applications, they require very efficient application in the edge. We can implement the NPU ourselves, but that's kind of tightly coupled with our RISC-V processor because, again, software ecosystem is really important and a lot of things you need to run it on the RISC-V. So from like MLIR, from the PyTorch, TensorFlow, and so on. So I think RISC-V really create a good ecosystem no matter what kind of acceleration you use, either based on RISC-V instruction or based on NPU, but you really need a general purpose processor behind that. So I think RISC-V is very good, and AI is here.
Thank you. So how about Chiu?
Yeah, so I think RISC-V was not developed for AI. I mean, when RISC-V was invented, AI has been there for many years, but it was not as hot as these days, right? But RISC-V was developed for flexibility. And AI is, a revolutionary technology. It requires some of those flexibility. And whenever you have a technology revolutions, and that kind of showcasing, gives all those new kids on the block a chance. And also, it kind of showcasing the legacy ISA's disadvantage. I think because of that, makes a RISC-V more applicable for AI. It's not that we were designed for AI, but AI fits us the best. Yeah.
Thank you. So,
Okay. Last night I spent 1 hour watching YouTube with Jensen Huang's keynote speech in COMPUTEX. It was 1 hour and 40 minutes, but I used a quick turn to quickly do my view on that because some of that are the same with what he did in last year or earlier this year in the CES. But anyway, the point is, Jensen said, NVIDIA is not a GPU company now. It's not a AI company now. It is a AI infrastructure company now.
AI
So
factory.
AI is really changing everything. I would say, we as sitting here for this seminar, we come from all over the world, but from audience, you come from Taiwan as major. So what is AI really affect you? We know companies may have RISC-V chip design or IP design from our sponsors today. But from our audience, you may apply those chips or IP to your job. But we know nowadays AI changes the world. Some companies, they may have a budget change from hiring more software engineer to change to buying more AI tools and less budget for manpower. So we should think about it. But from Taiwan's industry, starting to know that there are many AI chips made by RISC-V or systems coming with more RISC-V-based chip on it. Now is the time. There are more and more coming up. So we should try to learn this because those AI chips, they have a innovation. They have a differentiation. Again, NVIDIA goes to be AI infrastructure, but there are many, many more categories that come with a new AI application. So we should try to learn how to leverage this kind of a situation and leverage the strengths of RISC-V so our company could be differentiated with AI category. Yeah, that's my observation.
Well, thank you. Jason Huang's video takes 1 hour and 40 minutes, right? And every time after his speech, I will have a Chinese version. It takes only 30 minutes on YouTube. Okay, that is an easy version. Okay, we know that RISC-V start from, I remember, 2010, right? So it takes only 15 years. So the architecture, the design concept are brand new compared with x86 or ARM. So, but hackers or crackers attacked our computer system for many years. So how do RISC-V address increasing security challenges, especially it is an open standard? So Frankwell.
Okay. In terms of the level in instruction sets, that is different from so-called IP or chip design in the microarchitectures. So in ISA or architecture level, there's a way to deal with that. There are specifications on hardware or even define the ISA to deal with this kind of subjects. For example, in RVI, we have working groups defining IOPMP and so on. And then in terms of ISA, there's cryptographics and vector cryptographics, hypervisor. This kind of ISA collectively are all contributing to a microsystem security issue. So there are more and more coming up. In fact, dealing with a security issue for a microsystem is quite an issue because users or customers, they do have needs on security. but usually they don't like to pay, or they only pay for those that they think it is required. So as a vendor, you need to carefully evaluate the adding to the product of the system or chip or your solution. You have to think about it. Nowadays, I push our new CEO in RVI, Andrea Gallo, to that when he thinks RVI is ready to have a total solution for security, he should signal that soundly, to the world. Before that, I believe the whole RVI and the RISC-V community are preparing. I believe everyone here could tell more. I leave that to them. But I would say, from users' perspective, we encourage them to raise the requirement of security. But users should also think about how much you want to pay, all right? And from vendor, you should think about how to leverage the security specifications or solutions, hardware, software ecosystems that RVI and the community already provide, so you can leverage them and prepare a solution for that.
Thank you. How about Bochu?
Yeah, I think I will probably address this from two aspects. One is if you're talking about what RISC-V ISA does, what we provide is more of a security features that within our ISA, we make sure all those security features are available. So when people implement a CPU, they can implement those security capabilities to having better protection. But if you look at from the security attack perspective, quite often those attacks are on the actual implementation of the CPU. Very rarely the security attack, from the hackers is able to explore the ISA level issues. ISA, I don't think I have ever heard a security feature breach is on ISA itself, whether it's legacy ISA or the newer ISAs like RISC-V. But one major difference on RISC-V is if you look at the legacy ISA, x86, you have two vendors. ARM, it's one vendor, right? RISC-V, you have many, many IP vendors. So now if you do have a security attack, somebody will successfully explore a CPU implementation issues. With the legacy vendors, you have to wait for the vendor to fix the bug. While on the RISC-V, because you have so many vendors, you have options. That's one thing. Secondly, because you have options, the vendors are probably a lot more worried about having those bugs, and people tend to be a lot more careful to make sure those bugs do not happen.
Thank you. Dr. Su?
I agree with what Lou just mentioned. So, but but on the other hand, also agree with what Frank said earlier. I think security for most applications, they would kind of cherry pick what is needed, because most of the security feature added would incur some costs on their area, power, performance, and so on. So unless they got pressure from their end customer, which the eventual end customer probably kind of everyone, right? So if everyone raised the standard for that, the product requirement go to SoC, go to processor would have that. I think thanks to RISC-V, we have a lot of different security features there. Some of them maybe overlap. Some of them may be more sophisticated and cover more security hole, but some of them cover less. But I think it's good so that the customer can, based on their end application, to choose what is really needed to protect in their application, right? If they protect something, if their application in the security part need to protect something very valuable, and then they would increase people, hackers going to attack them. So that's why they want to protect that. So from IP perspective, we will tend to implement as many as we think reasonable, But all our processes are configurable, so custom can kind of choose what it make most sense to them. So I think the combination of many feature and also kind of the process implementation, we make it configurable would be kind of a pretty good choice as the kind of we continue going on in this unsafe world.
So I agree with a lot of the other points being made. In my mind, the way I think about this problem is security is a very complex and multi-layered problem. So on the software side, I think, in general, I think people will agree that if it's open source software, that's more auditable. You can go inspect it, so it's maybe safer in that respect. On the hardware side, I would say on the ISA level, there's been a lot of ISA extensions that, like Lou pointed out. For example, on the control flow integrity, there's the landing pads, shadow stacks. There's things like trusted execution environments. And then on the implementation level, that's where a lot of the attacks that you hear on the news, they come out, right? Like Spectre Meltdown, any of the side channel attacks. These are all because of, there's a very tight tension between very high performance implementations and speculation, right? And typically when you have high performance CPUs, you incur speculation, and then that's basically where a lot of all these attack vectors come in. And so there's this constant battle between having very high performance CPUs and having very safe implementations of those RISC-V CPUs that are passing all those known security issues. Now, having said that, there's always going to be security flaws that we haven't uncovered yet. Really, it's just a question of how quickly can you address those, and then what's the trade-off between performance and the coverage that you're speaking. So,
Thank you. How about William?
Yeah, also from my angle, I agree with everybody already covered. And one thing that I want to add is the when the vulnerability attack area, and also because you compare RISC-V to ARM. ARM is by one implementation, the addressable market space is much larger. And then for RISC-V, you have so many vendors, you have extension. Also, it's because it's an implementation issue. It's nothing to do with whether you use RISC-V or ARM. It's a multi-layer of hardware and software. So one advantage is, like I said, it's a community. So RISC-V community is really active to support each other. So I think just like open source, it's much more secure by evidence that it's going to be fixed pretty soon.
Thank you. So
excuse me, and can I add the comment? And then later on, when being asked, I can be the last one answer. I like to have two more examples. One is Cherry. RISC-V International Association is having a task force defining Cherry instruction set that is also a standard for security. Secondly, not necessarily ISA, but standard for those security organization like NIST, NIST. They have a new standard defined. So people are following that kind of a standard design PQC chip, post-quantum cryptography chip or a solution. Still, they can leverage RISC-V cores. So again, RISC-V can be used to apply, no matter you apply the instruction set or not, or simply the core to follow the national standard for security. Or you can have different perspective to prepare security solution for different kinds of security requirement.
Okay, thank you. So I think because RISC-V is open standard, so if there is any security issue, I think many people could find out and solve the problem. So it makes RISC-V more safe. Okay. So the final topic would be the application. So how should the ecosystem collaborate RISC-V on end equipment? So how about we? Do you have any comment?
Can you rephrase your question? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. How do customer or a user implement RISC-V on end applications?
Currently, Skymizer, we don't implement RISC-V. We create our own instruction set. So I'll skip this question too.
Yeah, so I guess from my perspective, there was a lot of good talks talking about the software communities. So today, like I think I like to just give the shout outs to people from RISE, right? So I think the RISE effort has been a very transformational effort in the community, because that's a way for the community to band together and then tackle some common software ecosystem issues. And I liked all the examples that was pointed out for RFQs, right? I think these are all things that the community finds very important to address on the RISC-V software ecosystem side. And I think from my personal perspective, I see a lot of progress being made probably every month on the compiler side. Compiler performance improving, especially on RISC-V vectors. And I'm sure that there's other things going on which is also very important for system performance as well. And then having standards like the RVA23 profile, as well as the different tiers, especially the platform profiles, that's super important for getting widespread adoption across the OS distributors, across different hardware implementations. So all those things make a huge difference.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I want to kind of mention RISE here. So RISE is RISC-V software ecosystem. I think that organization helped to kind of put together all the most important software ecosystem to start to kind of developing, because it has all the key player in RISC-V international, and then there we kind of everyone agree on what's the most important software ecosystem, and then we don't kind of overlap the effort. So that instead of that, if you do this, then we do something else, so that we can create a software ecosystem faster than if everyone do it by themselves. So and there. So RISE we create a lot of things. Everything will be open source. So the end customer can kind of go there to pick it up if they can, to see whether they can leverage. Certainly the fundamental development tool is there. And when they want to develop application, like today we have a talk by Ringland, which is Andy's member. He runs the system library. From there, a lot of component can be there, like for example, the audio, video codec, and so on. So if you want to do multimedia, there's a lot of things that can leverage. So I think if you want to develop software as end product, first you probably can go out to kind of check out what RISE has, and certainly welcome everyone to kind of join RISE to continue to kind of push the software ecosystem. But there are a lot of resources out there to enable the application development. So today even AOSP is there. So if you have RVA23 compliant hardware, and then you have Android, and you can start to develop the software on top of that already.
Yeah, I think that this is a perfect question for this panel, because all of us are hardware people, and a software person turning into a hardware person. So we can talk about hardware. Maybe we can talk about system software, but this question is about application software. I kind of want to relate this thing to one of the very first question on the advantage of RISC-V. I remember some of our panelists says RISC-V versus legacy. I says, you don't want a dictator. You want a community-based democracy. But I also want to add that a dictator that listens to his people might actually do a pretty good job. And if it's a community-run one, and depending on your definition of community, if your community is only like a very small community, you're not including the actual application software people in there, that you may not be implementing your hardware or implementing your system software properly. So I do want to make sure that we expand our community outreach to the upper layer application software people so that we can get their feedback and get their inputs.
Yes, thank you. Frankwell?
Yeah, today I wear my hat as chair of the RISC-V Taiwan Alliance. So I like to express my opposition from this point of view. Currently, RVTA has nearly 100 members, and they are quite a wide distribution. So we have hardware company, system company, software company. So I don't quite agree with William today because today Skymax, you come.
Skymizer.
Yeah. I'm
Skymizer.
sorry. Yeah, you come to sponsor this this forum because your company has a solution for RISC-V. It's a compiler, right?
Yeah, as a system, yes.
Right. So in that perspective, our members in RVTA, they have their different kind of perspective for RISC-V. They all contribute to different kind of application. No matter it's AI or automotive or security or MCU. And another way you observe that we can leverage my company's advantage or strengths on hardware, software. Maybe we write drivers. We contributed to some layer of chip design that can contribute to the SoC that also is a RISC-V based. So in this point of view, I still believe that in Taiwan, different layers of industry provider or industry companies, you can leverage RISC-V strengths in various kind of application. That's what my observation is.
Okay, thank you. So I think we still got 3 minutes, right? 3 to 5 minutes. So
No, only 1
That
minute.
was 3 minutes ago.
do you have any question for all the attendees? We have 3 to 5 minutes more. No? Okay. I think, yeah. So this activity probably gives you all the answers, right? So, yeah? Okay. When do we make money? Good question.
Well,
Do you have any comment?
I'll answer you that. I was thinking about, since if we are wrapping up, if any final thoughts, I want to do a pitch for RISC-V, and perfectly for your question. One area, we talk about AI here, right? One of the other area, it's very hot right now is auto, right? The autonomous driving. For auto, one of the key requirement is for safety reason, you need redundancy. And for redundancy in the legacy, ISA, how do you do redundancy with ARM, with another ARM chip, right? And in RISC-V, you can do a very perfect redundancy. That redundancy will be even from different IP, not just different SoC. So your safety will be much more improved. That your redundant chip is from a different SoC vendor with a different IPs, and everything is different. So you have a perfect redundancy. So that you will sell more chips.
That is a good comment. So how about Frankwell? Do you have any comment? Yes.
From RVI already started to make money because the strong membership increasement. So, yeah, applause. RVI already start to make money. Okay, so we have a strong leader here. We believe with that, every other companies, when they pass through the taking off stage, they will start to make money.
I have a question. Why ARM can earn money, but RISC-V is more difficult than ARM? Do you have any comment?
I have a different observation. ARM is under very strong pressure from Masasan, SoftBank. And SoftBank had 10 years very huge loss. So there's a big gap that SoftBank require ARM to fill up. it's been reported as 100 billion. That's why when ARM first time they tried to sold it to NVIDIA and not make it, and then they tried to IPO. With IPO, ARM's market cap is like 300 billion. That filled up 30% of what SoftBank requires. Now, the point is whether or not SoftBank keeps losing money, or now they return from that kind of big loss. I don't have a further report, but again, with that, ARM looks like turning to a different kind of a mindset. They started to do a chip design. They tried very best effort to fill up their boss' expectation. So they kind of dealing with customers in another way. They are not afraid to make customer angry. Okay, people like Qualcomm, they sue them, right? So if you have a vendor, they sue you, and well, what do you think? Even they make money, so what? It's no big deal. I should prepare backup solution. Anyone dealing with ARM, you got to be careful. Maybe tomorrow you got sued. So you have to prepare alternative. That's my observation. And RISC-V is a good solution.
Okay, thank you. Other comments? Okay.
Yeah. So, sorry. So, Andis is a public company in Taiwan, so you can go there to check how we are doing. So I don't want to say too much here. But we does have a lot of customers using our product, either replace ARM or maybe they'll start the first project using Andis, quite successful. So I think we are quite happy. So as we help more customers to be successful, that's our mission. So I think Yumin, certainly we hope we can help you to make money soon.
Yeah, so I think I have a slightly different perspective. So I would say we've done a good job promoting RISC-V as an open standard. And I think what's missing is high-performance implementations. I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. And I think Tenstorrent and others that are working on these high-performance implementations, once we're able to ship those and actually get them in systems, that's when real change will take place, because people will be able to run software and say, oh, the performance is as good as ARM or x86 or even better, right? And then that's where the rate of innovation will sort of kick in and gain wider adoption. The other thing is people that are currently using ARM, for example, there's a bunch of IP that surrounds, system IP that surrounds ARM, which today is not widely available across all the RISC-V ecosystem. There's not potentially open versions of all of them, right? So every company has to develop their own version or find some other solution, right? So I would say those are some of the key challenges. Yep.
Okay, thank you. So the conclusion is...
I think I want to add one thing. I think the comparison for ARM versus RISC-V might be slightly different, because RISC-V is an ISA, right? ARM is one of those earlier RISC, right? So if you compare RISC-V with all the RISC company, ARM needs to make a lot more money to make up all those bankrupt RISC companies now, right? The SGIs, the DEX, all those companies, they no longer exist. So I think ARM needs to make a lot more money to catch up with RISC-V.
Okay, yeah, so the conclusion is sooner or later we will make money. Probably stronger than ARM, right? Okay, thank you for all your joins today's activity.